Now I told you last week, I think was when I was here Monday or so, I told you that by the time I come back out here Saturday, which is today, the fifth one will reach to the end. And so said, so done. From here where I'm at on top of the Petroglyph Hill, looking down towards the eastern side of the end of the corrugated spanning, I can see the fifth culvert, the fifth corrugated culvert that is in the spanning area of the river has reached to the end. So we now have the first, the second and the fifth, and steadily the guys are working. The fourth one there, the fourth one is heading down fast towards the end, and when we have the third one somewhat lagging behind. But in between the space where these guys are working, they have to have continuation work in putting up the concrete section to put the J-beam in so that these things can be mounted. And this was not done like the others, because you see, like where a truck is coming up down there, they needed a roadway for the vehicles to be able to come up, and that's the reason why this is still lagging behind. But it is getting there slowly. And what we're seeing over there on the far side in that clearance over there, we have a stockpile of stone. And no doubt in my mind, I believe that these stones that are placed there are stones that are going to be used in this area of the spanning. I am not positively sure if they're stones that they're going to be filling with, or stones that they're going to be used on the runway itself after the filling has been done. But this is what we have here right now, and the works continue here at the Yanbou riverbed area, and down there we have at the mouth, at the entrance of the spanning, we have the siding, the boxing going up. The one in the front has already gone up, and now they are putting up the one at the back to pour the concrete in, to carry up that concrete section a little higher. And later on we're going to have the filling of these spaces over there on the side of the fifth one. We have a stone roller compacting. Last week when I was here, or let me say Monday when I was here, trucks were dumping stones in that area, and the stone roller now is compacting the stones. And over on the northern end, on that hill, we have the drill over there, and no doubt the drill is drilling into the rocks, so that you're gonna have some blasting next week. But there's not much earth movements or moving of earth in that area. But what I can see from here, it seems as though we have some leveling off of the soil and the compacting of the soil around the turning head. But when I get there later on, we'll see exactly what is taking place. But for the moment, I am on top of the Petroglyph Hill, looking down on the riverside where they're doing the spanning. 3 have already reached to the finish line, and we have the third and the fourth one to be completed. And no doubt by the end of May or thereabout, we will see the completion of all these corrugated iron. What is left to be done now, the guys will put in the bolts in areas where the bolts have not been placed and tighten them. And after that, we'll have the filling up of this area, and then we'll have everything going smoothly. But this is what we have today, Saturday the 25th day of April. I am here on that bank side where all those dirt from the airport site were dumped, the closest to the main road. This dirt that is on the northern side of the river. The river is somewhere down here below us. I'm looking now at the the spanning area of the river. And I was once over on the side over there on the Petrocliff hillside, so I'm on the opposite side of the river now, and I'm looking at the river spanning section from the northern angle of the northwestern angle of the site. And as you can see, things are happening here. The spanning, like you would have known, 3 of them are completed. They're down to the end. They still have some bolt, the fitting of the bolts to be done, but the actual putting up of the metal sheetings, that has been completed for 3 of them, and now we have the 3rd and the 4th one that are left to be done. Currently they are working on the 4th one, taking it down to whatever distance to which the concrete works, the base concrete work has been done to put the J-beam. Well, up to that point they're going to take it. But I am not quite sure how much work that has been done in terms of that laying down of the J-beam onto which the arches will be mounted. So depends on the distance they are, that is the distance they're going to go to for now until they finish the more concrete works in order to have those beams laid on. But up here at the front, workmen, the carpenters, are stabilizing the boxing section there for the pouring of concrete in this area. In this area of the river spanning. So they would have put up the concrete columns in between where the arches join, and they're carrying up the concrete works above the arches, and it most likely that is the height to which they're going, and then in between there they will fill up with whatever material they're going to fill up with, and then we're going to have the continuation of the laying of stones on this side and carrying up the runway to link with that of the other one, and the filling up of the river space that will be left there after the river has been channeled through those tunnels. That space that will be left where the river is currently running will be filled up, and no doubt it will be filled up with some of these dirt and stones that we have here on this bank side where I'm at right now. And over there in that level of area we have chuck upon chuckloads of stones being thrown there. Currently I don't know what they're going to use these stones for, if they're going to use them for filling up the spacing, or if they're going to use these stones for the stone base layer on which they're going to put the asphalt. But that is left to be seen. But for the time being, this is what we have happening here at the site. And other bigger stones are being dumped here. Over there in the distance we have a truck now dumping a load of stones over there, and no doubt I believe that some of these very stones will be mixed with other stuff in those spaces to fill up this section of the riverbed. As we can see here, the filling up of this area has begun, and we have the dirt up there, and a number of stones have been laid here on this side, the northern side of the river spanning area, and where the 5th culvert is. No doubt we have, and it has been compacted this morning. The stone roller was here compacting this section. So things are happening here. The work continues here at the airport side as we draw closer to that point where we're going to have the airport being operational. Over there on the bank side of Petroglyph Hill, we had some blasting last week. A number of stones, heavy boulders to be removed. And though we have these corrugated arches being put in place, we still have some more bolting up to be done, because a number of holes are still there, a number of bolts have to be put in place to secure these arches together. But what has been happening here is that they're carrying on the spanning, because the bolts can be tightened, put in afterwards, in order to get out of here in a quick time. So this is it here at the river spanning area, and I'm going a little bit further down. I will go down to the end to show you where they have gotten to with these spanning. Now we are down here at the end where we have the 3 of the 5 culvert has reached. They have reached the end to where they're going right now. And over there we have a stone roller compact in this area. And here at the river becomes narrower, because right now I could be able to cross over at this point because of the narrowness of the river. Earlier up it was so wide that it wasn't so possible to cross, but they're narrowing the river now as we draw closer to the spanning of this section. And as you can see in that point down there where you have 3 stones, you can jump on these stones and get over to the other side. So this is what we have currently here at the eastern end of the river spanning. 3 of the spanning have been completed, and there is 1 left to be done. So this is the final section left to be done, and you can see that the trench here has already been dug. Some areas have been concreted. The men are now putting in the steel frames to do the casting of the concrete, to put in the J-beams. And here we have, going down heading towards the sea, we already have the trench here being dug. Boulders are being placed inside it, and these boulders are going to come compacted, fitted together, and concrete is going to be poured in between them. And then the concrete works, the J-beam, and the J-beam is looking something like this one. We saw some earlier, but I'm going to bring you closer so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. You see this stuff that we have right here, like this piece of metal frame, like a gutter like. This is what we call the J-beam. And the culvert, the arches are going to be mounted in this here until they're going to be mounted in this and bolted on, and we're going to have them fill up. And no doubt when it is filled, all here where I'm standing at right now will be covered, fill up, and we'll have our runway passing on top of these culverts here that we have fitted down here at the river spanning of the Yanbou River. So I'm heading on my way out here from this section, where we're going to have another set of concrete slabs coming right down, onto which the J-beam is going to be mounted, and thus having the arches mounted onto those J-beams. And then we have the arches being filled, and the runway passing on top of these culverts here. So what we have right now doing is this section left up there, as you're looking at, left to be done, and later on we'll see times to come this will not be anymore.